Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jay. He's Maddie. This is Yankee and the Brit. We're going into Week 15, so you got our Week 14 review, Week 15 preview for tonight's game, and you'll still get our three best bets at the end of the night. And Maddie, I'm really interested to see how ChatGPT did.
So I'll break it down, Jay. ChatGPT went 0-3 on their best bet from the jump. So just to remind people, ChatGPT went Cowboys plus 3.5, Colts minus 1.5, and Bills minus 6.5 as well. They were closer on the Bills than on the others.
And a teaser, it doesn't get a whole lot better this week.
I think this week is actually a really difficult week for best bets. So come and join us, guys, with the huge spreads. Let me just check the spreads.
Well, you're checking. I got to put out my good news. Not only you can't really see it to this, guys, but I'll show you next week when it's still wrapped. I got my Vikings tattoo, but the best part about it is a Packer fan put it on me.
There you go. Making a Packer fan tattoo Vikings merch on you is top tier. Jay, what I was going to say is this week coming up, week 15 has four double digit spreads, and one of them also they have another one at 9.5 as well. So they basically have five at double digit spreads this week, which is absolutely insane. But yeah, as Jay said, we're going to go through our week 14 reactions, reacting to the Chargers and the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Texans, the Ravens, the Steelers, the Packers, the Bears, the Vikings, and the Commanders. And we'll talk a little bit about Phillip Rivers before giving you our week 14 MVP, rookie MVP, GMJ, week 14 overreactions. Always stay tuned for them, guys, and our week 15 Thursday Night Football preview with best bets coming up too.
I didn't look through your rundown yet. Really, you got us talking about Joe Burrow wanting out of Cincinnati?
No, I haven't seen that.
Joe Burrow said he didn't come out. He said, "I don't know if I want to do this anymore." He went through this whole spiel. He looked really distraught. Sounds to me like Joe Burrow wants out of Cincinnati, but I'm sure more is going to unfold, so that's something we can talk about on Sunday. See, that's a teaser.
Yeah, so come and join us on Sunday for that, guys. But that Bengals Bills game, Jay, just before we start with the rest of it, that Bengals Bills game was absolutely crazy. That was a mad one. Joe Burrow played well enough to win that game, and the Bengals let him down again. So I feel like that's where he feels.
Just saying, Cincinnati. 3 first-round picks and J.J. McCarthy. Come get it. Let's go. Let's pair him up with Justin Jefferson. Let's go win a Super Bowl with Flores' defense. Let's go.
Would you be slightly tempted by that? And that put your non-bias cap on and go to the Cincinnati Bengals. Would you be quite tempted by that as well?
You can't trade more than 3 years out on your picks, right? And by NFL rules. So unless you can get somebody to give you 4 or 5 because they have extras, what better are you going to get than a quarterback who might be a star? You don't know, but you get first-round quarterback and 3 first-round picks. I think, if you're going to move on, you have to think about that. I don't know if that's something Kwesi or Kevin O'Connell would do, but I'm just saying you want to put him with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, let's go.
Yeah, and if Joe Burrow leaves Cincinnati, you've got to think that Jamar Chase will start making a bit of a fuss as well if Joe Burrow's gone. Then. Yeah, well, T. Higgins doesn't have the same connections as those.
No, but
Higgins plays well.
He took less money to stay there.
Yeah,
a lot less money.
Yeah, and look, something that we spoke about, Jay, at the start of the season was that build, how they were building out that team, and the fact that Hendrickson on the defensive side of the ball didn't get paid properly. He's now injured, but how injured is he? He knows his free agency is coming up this year because they basically signed him to a half-a-year contract there. So we'll see how Hendrickson comes out as well. And there's a lot of teams that would be really interested in getting Hendrickson on their team as well.
Yeah, it was just crazy. I'm not even the only one. Every news station now or football station, but you're in a different time zone, so you're living real life up to the show. And but yeah, it's a big thing today. He was somber as hell, bro. And he really was talking like he wanted out of there. Like he was talking like he was almost done with football. So it's like, I don't know if he wants out. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of suitors. And then if they franchise trade, this will be another shit show of an offseason for Cincinnati.
I think it would be mad for them to franchise Trayvon Hendrickson now. It just I think that would be crazy for them to do. Maybe tag and trade would make sense, like that kind of deal. But I think it would be crazy for them to do that now, because he's just so ready to be out and he deserves to be out as well. But since who gets what they deserve all the time in football. But the Bengals, they're an interesting organization. I've been saying all season, like, Joe Burrow needs to be saved from the Bengals, in the same way that I think Josh Allen needs to be saved from the Bills at this point. Having watched that game again, like, Josh Allen completely saves them against a defense that they should be destroying, and the Bills defense can't do anything. So a difficult game for the Buffalo Bills there as well. But Jay, moving on to other reactions here. The Los Angeles Chargers went up against the Philadelphia Eagles. The Chargers came out on top as victors, one of my best bets of the week. And the slide continues in Philly. But Jay, is Jalen Hurts the problem in Philly? Because 4 interceptions in the game, your team got 6 sacks on the opposition quarterback, 2 interceptions from Justin Herbert as well. Should have been able to put that game away, and he kept on turning the ball over. Is Jalen Hurts the problem?
Well, I don't remember the other 2 interceptions off the top of my head, but there is 2 of them that were definitely not his fault. A.J. Brown, it hits him in the fucking hands. The other one's a deflection too. So, okay, I don't think he's the problem. I think that scheme's the problem. I think whatever they're doing, because Saquon doesn't look like Saquon. The last 3 games, A.J. Brown's gotten off, but the whole year he wasn't A.J. Brown. And it seems like their biggest plays went to Smith. So I don't know what's going on there. They just don't look right. I don't think it's just one thing. I don't think it's fair to blame Jalen Hurts for everything that's going on. But I do understand it's the quarterback. It's a quarterback-driven league. And if they decide to move on from him, if they find somebody they think is better, fine. But I don't think you can blame Jalen Hurts for what's going on in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I think we're coming back down to earth a little bit from where the Jalen Hurts hype got to kind of last year, where it's like Jalen Hurts is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. I feel like that maybe went a little bit too far, because I think the scheme was like Kellen Moore is clearly a great offensive
right, but he was last year, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That even leads more credence to yes, I agree with you.
Yeah, but Kellen Moore is clearly a great offensive coordinator. But my problem with Jalen Hurts actually isn't his style of play. I feel like we're probably now a different ebb where we've probably gone too far the other way. It's this. I've heard some people saying it reminds them of like Russell Wilson in Seattle, right? Where there's clearly problems in terms of dynamics in the locker room there, and Jalen Hurts isn't necessarily like getting on with the rest of the team. And one of the big things that they said about Jalen Hurts was his leadership and everything. But is he exhibiting that leadership? Like, is there problems in the locker room caused by Jalen Hurts not getting on with the team as much as everybody else? In which case that does become a problem. But I don't personally see that. I just think the entire coaching staff is the problem. Like, Nick Sirianni has won a Super Bowl, has had a huge winning record. So I get it. Like, I get it with Nick Sirianni. It's your job to stop the noise. Like, if you're a CEO coach, you need to be a people's coach, a man manager coach. If that's who you are, that noise is coming out too much. Players are unhappy too often in this team as well. The team cohesion isn't right. The offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator, this season is the first time that he was allowed to choose those guys himself. He decided to go from in building, and they've been terrible as well. So terrible offensive coordinator, terrible defensive coordinator.
That's the thing, and I don't know what you believe, what you see on the internet, obviously, but now there's noise that he was forced into them and had to pretend like he wanted them. And I don't know what's going on, but if that's the case too, you also have a bigger problem.
Sorry, I'd just like to correct myself. Vic Fangio is the Eagles defensive coordinator. He's excellent. Like, that's not that wasn't a Nick Sirianni hire. It was more talking about the offensive coordinator. I was just going off on something and just spilled out in my mouth. But yeah.
So if they're not letting him pick his coaches, if that's true, it's a problem. And if you let him pick the coach and he picked that one, it's a problem. So either way, there's a problem. But I'll never say the problem's Howie. But at some point, the GM needs to step in and steer the ship.
Yeah, right. Like that has to happen. And I think, look, they're never going to get rid of Harry Roseman. So I could see them getting rid of Nick Sirianni if this kind of continues. Like if it continues next season, but with Sirianni, if you're not going to if he's not picking his coaches, then what's he there for? I don't really get what his job role is as the head coach if he's not coordinating and he's not picking his own coordinators, and the man management of the team is wrong, and the team continue to have these weird like losing streaks, or like they continue to have this like 1 year they're in the Super Bowl, the next year they choke into the play, like they chug into the playoffs on the back of losing like quite a few games in a row. Like, what is Nick Sirianni doing there? I don't really get that. Jalen Hurts, I think, is having a bad season. I think it can be said to do with scheme. There was a really bad turnover in the play where it was the turnover into the fumble again. So like the turnover.
All I text the group chat was that was fucking wild. That's all I said.
Yeah, but that actual throw is terrible. Like, he doesn't see the linebacker cheating on the route whatsoever. He comes in, and then great play, which is where I don't understand this Jalen Hurts intangibles problem, like the leadership problem. Like, the fact he throws a turnover and then goes in to make the tackle, but punching the ball out to get the fumble and then recovering the fumble. It's then just, he didn't get the ball in his hand again to be able to like him fumbling that ball doesn't really count. I've seen people saying it's a 5 turnover game for him because of that fumble on that play. I'm like, I'm not going to count that one as like it is on Jalen Hurts, but I'm not going to count it. But that throw's terrible. The throw that ends the game, that is a throw that you should be making. That's a throw that you shouldn't be making. He throws it into double coverage. They're up. They've got time. Like, it looked like they were just methodological. They were just driving down the field, and it looked like for all money that they were going to win that game, and he just throws it right into double coverage, and it's a terrible throw, and it gets batted up in the air and then picked off. And like, yes, that is a deflection, but it's a deflection because you've thrown it into double coverage that it's been recovered. So I think Jalen Hurts has some blame, but Jay, I agree with you. It's a coaching staff issue.
Yeah. We'll see what they decide to do in the off season. I don't think Sirianni gets fired because I still think they win the division, but we'll see.
Yeah, I guess that brings me on to my next thing, Jay. Are they still going to do you think Philly will be able to stop the rot? Do you think they're going to be do you think they're going to make it to the playoffs in this game? Because the Dallas Cowboys lost this week as well, the Eagles still need to lose another 2 games. They've obviously got the Raiders, where they're 11.5-point favorites this week. And then they've got the Commanders, who done not great. They've got the Bills in between there as well, but they've got 2 games against the Commanders, 1 game against the Raiders. Do you think like they have those get-right games against the Raiders, and then they're off to the races again?
Yeah, and as they win, I'm sure they're praying that the Cowboys lose, which makes the trip to the playoffs that much harder, right? It makes it easier for them. So let me look. You guys are 2 games back right now.
Yeah, we need them to lose 2. If they lose 2 and we win out, then we go through by half a game. So they need to. They've got. And it's not like
I don't think either team can have a shot at a wild card, because I'm looking at it, and like, if this plays out funny, the Bears literally could win 11 games and miss the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's where we're at with this. Like, the Cowboys can now finish 10-6-1 and miss. Like, yeah. So
everybody keeps winning, yeah, because it's wild. Because I think we see 3 teams from the West. The 49ers have the tiebreaker on the Bears, so like, I think we see 3 teams from the West, and then now who's going to get that last wild card spot? Yeah,
I see. If the Eagles had one more semi-tough game, I would say they missed the playoffs, because I currently I'm looking at it and I'm thinking they're going to be one and done. going into the playoffs here. Like, they're not playing good enough football. They're not a good football team, but they're about to come up against the Raiders this week, which I think is probably a get-right game for them. Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis going up against that interior offensive line. 11.5 might be a bit rich for the spread. Come and see us on our next show to see what we decide on that by the end of the day, just because their offense is poor and the Raiders defense has some wheels. But then they've got the Commanders as well, who the Vikings just put to the sword. And Jaden Daniels look like he might just get sacked for the rest of the season now.
I think he's out again. The point spread says to me they don't believe he's playing this week.
He's out this week. It's whether he comes back next week for the Eagles. And it's like, why would you bring him back? Yeah, why would you bring him back? Well, they played tough football with Marcus Mariota in there. They went to 1 point with the Broncos, so it's not like
your season's already over.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like you completely hand your team over. So, yeah, I think the Eagles probably still make it because of the teams that they've got left, but they're not playing good football going into the playoffs.
Yeah, and I agree. Yeah. And I think the only way to the playoffs for them is to win the division.
Yeah, which means to win the division, they need to win 3 out of the next 4 games. Like that's their route. So they can lose against the Bills and still make it. But Jay, on the other side of the ball, the Chargers, it wasn't a particularly great game from either side. Justin Herbert, I thought in this one, I know we've been pretty harsh on Justin Herbert this year, but I thought in this one he was kind of absolutely running for his life. Like, his offensive line gave him nothing. He was sacked 6 times. He was hit 10 times. He had 2 turnovers in that game. It sounds like he's injured and he had metal plates. He's had to have metal plates in his left arm going into this game. Jay, can Justin Herbert survive the Los Angeles Chargers currently this season?
Yeah, he has been getting the shit beat out of him, and it's got to be really frustrating for the management of that team because you put so much resource into that offensive line, and then you get injury and bad plays, and like it's got to be so frustrating right now for them because it's not like you ignored that position, right? You didn't ignore it, but
it's not like the Bengals.
Right. Right. So, he's been rough. I think they just have to run the ball and get the ball out of his hands quick and try to save his life some.
Yeah, I agree. And I still think the Chargers are a good football team with Omari and Hampton in there. They looked really good. Vidal's been a great find for them this year. And they actually have fixed the offensive line. I think that's their problem, right? Like, that's what will be frustrating is the fact is, they've got Joel and Rashawn Slater. They have actually fixed the offensive line. It's just both of them got injured early on in this season. Whenever they had Joel and Rashawn Slater, they looked like a totally different football team, and they still have a great winning record. They're well coached. Their defense has stood up. It's just, can Justin Herbert actually survive, like staying in the pocket here for the Chargers? We'll see if he makes it to the playoffs, and it looks like it could be him versus Trevor Lawrence again in the AFC wildcard games.
Yeah, and I mean, just have a good season with Harbaugh, get a good footing, and then move from there. I know fans and the players don't want to hear that, but in the scheme of NFL world, they're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, 100%. I think the Chargers have some great wins this year. They're 9.
Yeah, I don't think they're good enough to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I agree. And they're definitely not good enough to win the Super Bowl without both of their starting tackles. But they've got wins against the Eagles. They got the win against. They've got some really bad losses as well. But they beat the Eagles. They beat the Broncos. They beat the Chiefs. In this season as well. They just also have weird losses against the Giants and the Commanders, and they have a loss against they got absolutely owned by the Jaguars 35-6. Like, they've had some weird losses and some great wins this season.
Can we call the Chiefs a great win this year?
Well, it was the first game of the season.
I know. I'm just saying the Chiefs have fallen off.
The Chiefs have fallen off. Okay, talking about the Kansas City Chiefs, Jay, they lost to the Houston Texans this game. Jay, the Houston Texans defense is great, and it makes you question everything that you do on offense. But has Patrick Mahomes taken a step back this year? Because 3 interceptions in this game as well.
Yes, but with a caveat. Yes, because he has to do too fucking much. They're asking him to do too much, which causes a problem. And I don't care how good of a player you are. you start to feel that pressure when you feel like it's all on you. I love Travis Kelce. It is really time for you to evaluate if you want to come back next year. I know he avoided the press because of that and may get fined from the NFL. He may have been. I didn't look it up again. Guys aren't doing any service to help him right now. And I think Andy Reid got weirdly stale at some point with his play calling this year. But I do think that he's being asked to do too much, which has made him take a step back.
Yeah, I think the Texans, I said this going in to the game, the Texans have a defense that makes you question everything you do on offense. And I think that's what happened in this game. They just played a shutdown defense here that at the same time they were also missing both of their tackles in this game, and that showed as well. Also, the tackle that was playing, Wenyon Morris, he went down on the first play of the game as well. So they were down to third string tackles up against probably the top three defense in the NFL. So I think that's a thing for Patrick Mahomes. But we highlighted it throughout those early games in the season where Patrick Mahomes was playing great football and getting the Chiefs to winning positions despite the Chiefs. He had a huge and absolutely massive turnover-worthy play stat. His turnover-worthy plays in some points during the season. So against the Jacksonville Jaguars, he had 7 turnover-worthy plays with only 1 interception in that game. And the 1 interception went for a pick 6, and they end up losing that game, but they should have lost that game by more because Patrick Mahomes had 7 turnover-worthy plays in that game. That was what was going on with Patrick Mahomes, and he's just started to get them picked off. That gets picked off against the Texans. He got picked off 3 times. He's not being helped by his wide receivers. He's not being helped by his offensive line, and he's not been helped by his running backs. The entire offense is not helping Patrick Mahomes out. I don't think it is Patrick Mahomes stepping back. I actually think he's stepped up this year. It's just it's difficult to get anything moving. And the Texans, they did a great job of taking away Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice is his perfect outlet ball, and the Texans blanket the guy.
That drop, drop, bro. Oh my gosh. As soon as you brought up his name, I just saw it. I was like, oh my gosh. Again, you're not helping out your quarterback. We've seen a lot of drops this year, though. It is crazy.
Yeah, I wonder what it is with the drops this year. I wonder what it is. Are they wearing a different type of glove or something? Have they just has the glue on the gloves worn off?
Just one of those weird stats that really don't have a correlation, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is.
And I wonder if it's more drops this year, or if it's just big name players making these drops at the worst times now, too.
Yeah, I think also, I feel like we've had a lot of tighter games this year because there isn't standout teams. The parity in the league, it feels like any week anyone can beat anyone, which I know is a saying that we always have in the NFL, but the Saints just beat the Bucks, the Panthers just beat the Rams. It's happening more this season because I don't think we have just 1 or 2 or 3 great teams. So I think because games are more on the line, everything's more pressurized, everything's a lot closer. Maybe you just notice the drops more, but I don't know. Maybe me and you watch a lot of Vikings football just because you're a Vikings fan, so you watch a lot. And then I know that it's good to talk about the Vikings because you're a Vikings fan. So I watch a lot more Vikings. I'm a Vikings fan by proxy. I also live in a town named after the Vikings and stuff like that. So they're always a team that have been close to me. So maybe we just watch a lot, and Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson are the most guilty of drops this season.
Yeah. And then CeeDee Lamb had that weird stretch. And then
CeeDee Lamb just only drops against the Eagles.
And then Metcalf had 2 games where it was what do you fuck? Are you turn into stone hands? All of it. It's just big names. I think that's the weird thing. And at worst situational football times to have these. Wow, that was, I don't even know if that was English, but you all get what I'm saying.
I got it. Jay, but what next for the Kansas City Chiefs? Because they've missed the playoffs. The playoffs are not there for them. They are out. Is this a rebuild? Is it just a reshuffle? What next for the Chiefs?
All right, in my best Vin Raines voice, what's next? I'll tell you what's next. All right, anybody who watched Pulp Fiction got that. They're going to go into the offseason. They're going to figure out how to fix it. We're all going to talk shit about, are the Chiefs good enough? and then they're going to come out and play really good football again next year. That's what I think what's next for them.
Yeah, for me, I think their mission will be get younger, right? Like be a bit less top heavy, get a bit younger. Chris Jones hasn't really had that season. Travis Kelce, as you say, has had quite a few drops this season. Like really draft well. We know that's going to happen. Jay, the parallels are pretty similar. The New England Patriots, after Tom Brady lost his chance to be a 4-time Super Bowl winner, they didn't make the playoffs for the next 3 years after that. And that was in Tom Brady's 7th year. This is Patrick Mahomes' 7th year as well. They didn't make the playoffs after that. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they'll probably make the playoffs next year. I really trust in this team to go away and get it right. And actually, if you look at a lot of their games, it's not like it's a lot of 1-score games that they've gone down, and it's not like they're getting absolutely slapped every week.
And they go so far in the playoffs, they actually in 4 years have an extra season of games too. Like, maybe missing the playoffs might be good. Let them motherfuckers get some extra rest, come back next year.
Yeah, get some rest, come back next year. I think a real undervalued piece of the Chiefs' problem has been their pass rush this year. I feel like they've been getting pass rush out of nowhere for the past few years. Like they've not really had the star defensive ends. Like George Karlaftis shows up at certain points, and Spagnuolo comes up with great like blitzes every now and again to actually get them pass rush. But this year they've been found out in the pass rush. It's a Texans team their offensive line has improved. It's like I feel like we say every week, like, the Texans are going to be under pressure. CJ Stroud's going to be under pressure. I feel like they've crept towards like average. I think they're now at about 20th best O-line in the NFL or something, or 25th O-line in the NFL or something, which is much better than what they were before. But the Chiefs got no pass rush in this game. So I think go sort out the pass rush, get a bit younger in certain positions as well, and they'll come back again fighting next year. But Jay, the Houston Texans, now with the Colts falling apart, they're 1 game behind the Jags. The Colts are struggling, and we'll talk about them in a second. The Texans are 1 game off winning their division. I wouldn't want to face the Texans in the playoffs. What do you think has turned around their season, and do you think that they could be a real issue in the playoffs for people?
Yeah, they're definitely going to the playoffs, even if it's in the wild card, because if you look at the teams that they're like even kind of close to, you got to look and go, yeah, I'm taking the Texans over them teams. Like, I think the AFC is going to play itself out way faster than the NFC is going to, though, for the playoff picture. I think they just turned it around because they're finally figuring out how to play with, this is going to sound stupid, but with the lack of talent they have on that offensive line, they figured out how to make it work. And that defense is fucking nasty.
It's unbelievable.
The top 3, I don't know what the statistical categories are. I didn't look. Top 3 defenses in the NFL in no particular order are the Broncos, the Texans, the Browns.
I'd put the Seahawks in there.
I said top 3. You can't have 4 teams in the top 3. So who are you taking out?
Oh, God. It would have to be the Browns, but Myles Garrett's been so good, so I can't take it.
I was just curious. There wasn't a wrong answer. I was just curious. I can't shot at the Seahawks, though, either. I think the Seahawks benefit from a good offense, but that still doesn't take away from what they're doing.
Yeah, maybe.
The Browns impress me because they're so bad on offense.
Yes, and you can't take Myles Garrett out of the top 3. The season that he's about to have, I think that's my problem. Like, the Browns defense is, it's good, and then it has Myles Garrett. That's what's going on there. But it has Myles Garrett, so that makes them.
They got some good corners, too, which always helps.
Yeah, exactly. But the Texans are great. I think the key is, I agree, they've rejigged that offensive line, and their rookie Aronte Ursaray has come in and has played really well. What? Easy for
you to say because I wasn't trying. Yeah.
Has come and played really well at left tackle, and once you can secure one side of the line, it makes the rest of it. I know it's like 4/5 of the line still struggle, but once you've got one side locked down, which is why you pay the tackles more than the guards. I know I said the guards are more important. Like why you play the tackles more is because if you get the tackle position right and the rest of your line is shit, you can still work with that. Whereas like if you have a total absence of tackles, then you're just leaking from either side. Right. But the Texans, they've kind of moved that line around. It's really good. But when you hide behind that defense, you're able to do anything. And Jay, Davis Mills came in, and I think Davis Mills actually steadied the ship. Like that's where I think it's really important. I think CJ Stroud was running for his life and he was struggling to progress in this season. And I think Davis Mills came in and went, okay, let's steady the ship, play simple football, let the offensive line actually get their feet under them a little bit. So we don't have CJ Stroud has one of the longest times to throw in the NFL. He does a lot of scrambling. He doesn't make it easy for his offensive line. So I think Davis Mills comes in, steadies the ship. They sort out their problems, and then CJ Stroud comes back into it with the problems slightly sorted out. Still not great. A defense that is unbelievable, and they can just go and win games. Now, I wouldn't want to play them just because of their ability to completely shut you up on the defensive side of the ball. Jay, the Baltimore Ravens went up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers came out on top in this game. The Ravens struggled again, but Jay, are the Pittsburgh Steelers getting in their own way? Because me and you sat here and we diagnosed exactly what they had to do to be a good offense, and they went and did it within the first 3 plays of the game. They stretched the field. DK Metcalf had more receptions downfield in that singular game than he's had all season in the NFL. DK Metcalf stretching the field, and that's all the Steelers had to do. They then opened up the Ravens, they opened up their own offense, and they gave everything that they were able to have for Aaron Rodgers.
And Roger played a really good game, and still it looked difficult, right? Like, this is a problem. Rodgers played a good game. It looks difficult. But what this game said to me, it said more about the Ravens and the Steelers to me. The Steelers are kind of what we think they are. The Ravens are dead. They're dead.
Yeah, I think looking at that game, I was like, the Steelers should be better than they've been all season. And the Steelers have quite easy ways to making themselves a lot better. And it's throw the ball down the field more to DK Metcalf and then run the ball. Like that's legitimately their offensive play. This is also exactly the kind of game that Mike Tomlin always wins to get them back to 500, to get them into the playoffs. He wins these games every single year, doing that as well. Jay, before we answer the question at the bottom of the chat, let's finish off with this game. Has Lamar Jackson taken a step back as well? We spoke about Patrick Mahomes. What's going on with Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, it's the whole team, but yes, which Lamar's not playing up to his standard. The Ravens defense is not the Ravens defense. Everybody keeps giving them credit for history. And as good as King Henry is, this has not been the season for him either. Everything in Baltimore is wrong. It's not right. They need to figure out something. Again, John Harbaugh, great coach, time to move on, new voice, new scheme. I think that's what needs to happen.
Yeah, I feel like the race has been run for the Ravens. And it's, look, the reason Lamar Jackson has taken a step back is largely because he's not running the ball as much because he's been injured. And Lamar Jackson is a good thrower. He's an excellent thrower of the football, but I feel like he's been missing throws this year. And it's because those throws are not as easy because he's not as much of a run threat as well. So the whole scheme is a bit different this year because Lamar Jackson isn't running. And Derrick Henry's lost a step this year. It's not like Saquon where I'm like this could be the scheme for Saquon. It's Derrick Henry has the same scheme and he's just simply not running through people as much. And I remember when you said to me for the first time that Derrick Henry is a scat back, that is huge. And it just blew Derrick Henry open for me. Derrick Henry needs that step to be able to do stuff, and he's lost it. Like all running backs, especially scat backs at this stage. And that's what's happened with the Baltimore Ravens, I think, going into this year. Jay, the New England Patriots didn't play this week. The Buffalo Bills did. The Buffalo Bills really struggled, but we have a question here from one of our viewers, and we answer all of the questions that get put in from our viewers. So, guys, if you have questions, then do feel free to put them in the chat, and they'll be put up. But what do we think about the New England Patriots? And then there's a lot of stuff about CTE. But then should they come out and play a physical game against Buffalo and really set the tone? Jay, I'm surprised on the spread for the Bills versus the Patriots.
I think the comment just is that Christian Ellis lays the lumber and causes CTE. Like, I think that's the point. But, like, he plays like a fucking rocket, right?
Yeah.
I love what New England's doing. I don't know who I'm picking for sure in this game, right? It's a close point spread. I know the Bills need it. New England's great, so I'm not sure about that yet. But I think this is one of the games of the week. This is the game. This is one of the games I am locked in for. I am so impressed. I've said this through the year. You too. Vrabel, Drake May, like Wolf as the GM, Ron Wolf's kid. I always forget his first name. Sorry, but they are doing amazing things this year, and I actually think they have a shot at the Super Bowl. I don't think the Bills necessarily have a shot at the Super Bowl unless Josh Allen wears a cape in every play of every game in the playoffs.
For me, I think
Elliot Wolf. Thank you.
So the point spread in this game, Jay, when we're going into it, it was genuinely something I was considering for a best bet because the Bills are.
I did too, but it scares me because it's a divisional game
and it's Josh Allen. Yeah. So the Bills are favored by 1.5 points. I think the Patriots walk in. I'd be surprised if the Patriots didn't walk in there and win by at least a touchdown. I think the Patriots are better at almost every level than the Bills, apart from maybe a quarterback, and it's a close call between Drake May and Josh Allen. It's just we have a longer history of Josh Allen doing it. It's a close call this year. But Josh Allen, the difference is Josh Allen has to play superhero ball for them to win football games. He just had to play superhero ball against the Bengals. And the Bengals are a better football team since Joe Burrow's been back. They're even better defensively than since Joe Burrow's been back. But it's still one of the worst defenses of all time. And Josh Allen had to play Superman ball to get them over the line. The Patriots have had one of the best run games in the NFL. So you take away James Cook, and we've seen if you take away James Cook from that Buffalo Bills team, it forces Josh Allen to play Superman ball, and that forces Josh Allen to make mistakes. Now, can the Patriots capitalize on those mistakes? 100%, because they're a great football team. The other games where Josh Allen has made mistakes is against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who couldn't stop anything in that game, and Josh Allen went on to then scored 6 touchdowns as well in that game. He just went absolutely insane. But the Patriots capitalize on those mistakes every single time. And Drake May, Henderson running out of the backfield, the rookie running back that they've got there. I think Stephon Diggs has been a great addition. And then on the offensive side of the ball, they've just played really good. Christian Gonzalez just goes and locks anyone down like you put him on. Like, he's absolutely incredible. So that then again takes away another thing for Josh Allen. And as you say, Jake, Mike Vrabel has gone on and done a great thing. My big issue with the New England Patriots is they were really easy to fucking hate. And now they've come back and they're playing really likable football. How do these fuckers, like the New England Patriots, I love them. And that's not fair. I spent my whole NFL life hating the Patriots. Now all of a sudden I love them again. What is that? What has happened here?
I don't understand it because I've always liked Brady, right? I'm always like, I'm a fan of greatness. So, like, I had no problem with it, the dynasty and the run. And I always thought Belichick was a great coach, but a rough dude to deal with. And I don't know how he kept teams together. And you hear he made it not fun for them. But they have fucking 6 rings. Like, okay, it wasn't fun, but you know what? When you look back on it, it's going to be fucking amazing. But Vrabel turned that thing around quick, and I give them so much credit for moving off of Gerard Mayo after 1 year. I said it on the show, you said it on the show, but I didn't know if they would do it. And the fact that they had enough balls to pull the trigger on a guy who was a Patriot for life, not just some coach, right? He was the heir apparent, and they were like, we can get Vrabel. This isn't working. We're going to get Vrabel. We're going to get Drake May, and we're going to change life again in New England.
I think with thank you very much. I think with Gerard Mayo as well, it does offer up the question of, was Gerard Mayo like the sacrificial lamb? Like, yeah, I know.
I like it. Talk your shit. I like it.
I like this guy. Was Gerard Mayo like the sacrificial lamb? So was it they were always going to go get Vrabel? It's just nobody wants to be the guy after the GOAT.
I don't think so.
I don't think it was.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think they wanted him to succeed because he's a patriot, right? They wanted that to happen. It just didn't look good at all.
Yeah, I think the real positive there is don't throw good money after bad, right? That's like a huge problem that everybody has. It's don't throw good money after bad. Don't once you've made a mistake, don't just continue to double down on mistakes because you want your mistake to work. It's guys who are confident in their job security, I think, and I think the Wolf family do a great job of having like understanding that you can't get every decision right, and just because you get one decision wrong doesn't mean that like everything is affected by that. With the and obviously if it's Vrabel on the table, then it's also a bit of a no-brainer to go get
Think about this. It's almost following his Elliot's Wolf following his dad's footsteps, because his dad went into Green Bay, got Mike Holmgren, got Brett Favre, and then Reggie White, and changed life for Green Bay. They get Vrabel, they get Drake May, and they pay Milton, who a bunch of people thought was a bad idea, and they changed life in New England. So Elliott learned something from his pops.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the other thing is here, Josh has a lot of fans. Look at this. We're gonna have to get Joshua W8083 on the show because so many fans already. Unless Random Anton thinks that we're Patriots fans. But
yeah, we're not Patriots fans. We're just talking about a question that was asked to us about the Patriots. I'm a Vikings fan, and unfortunately, Maddie's a Cowboys fan.
Yeah, definitely. I think that Jerod Mayo was the right person to go. I think with the final thing on the Patriots then and Jerod Mayo, I do think it is the perfect case of moving off a mistake. And I think there's loads of representation of that in the NFL going the other way, right? It's like the Atlanta Falcons need Raheem Morris to work. So like Raheem Morris is still there. Or like Brian Dable, like Brian Dable still being at the New York, Brian Dable paying Daniel Jones, like Daniel Jones going out there because they need to say, oh, our 5th round pick, you know, which to be fair, Daniel Jones did come back and was great. And unfortunately, we'll talk about the Colts situation in a second, but you know, like,
we got another Eagles fan. Maddie makes me sound like an Eagles fan because of his Eagles hate.
Yeah. And go look at the first bit of the show. We had a great time talking the Eagles and their imminent demise and the fact they're probably going to.
Damn!
Continue to listen on. Continue to listen.
One of us talk about their imminent demise, not both of us.
That was the most British I've sounded in a while, I think. Imminent demise. Do you know what one of my favorite comments is, Jay? How can you talk about the NFL when you have that accent? That's my genuinely favorite comment that we get regularly on the show. I've decided that's something that I quite like. Anyway, sorry. Just to take a break.
That's an interesting take, though. That's an interesting take. Yeah, I'm just digesting that for a while. I have before. Don't worry, I have.
How can I listen to this guy about when he's got this accent? It's always good fun. Jay, let's talk about the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears. What a game that was. That was back and forth. That was the game of the week for me. That was a great game. The Packers, unfortunately, came out on top in that one, but it was a really great game, and it was on the line the whole entire time. Unfortunately, Caleb Williams can't replicate exactly the same play from the week before, and Caleb Williams doesn't and ends up throwing an interception to finish the game. But Jay, is this Jordan Love's year? Because he's looking really good and consistently good, no matter how inconsistent his action is.
I'm not moving off my stance. The Packers are a really good team. I still don't think this is their year to win a Super Bowl. I don't think we're there yet. I think for them to get there, they need home field advantage. I don't think that's going to happen. They still might lose the division to the Bears. The Lions still have an outside chance of winning this division. And you have to get past the Rams to get to the first seed. I think that's going to be rough. I do think they're a really good team, and nobody wants to play them. The only thing I got to say is leave it to the fat Packers to figure out how to fuck me 2 times in one game. Not only do you win the game where I would have been okay with the Bears winning the game because I fucking hate the Packers, but you don't cover the spread when I picked you pieces of shit, so you get me twice. Like, how the fuck can the Packers get me twice in one game? But they did. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. No, the Packers did cover the spread.
They were 6-point favorites, weren't they?
They were 6.5. What was the?
Didn't they only win by like? Did they?
They were by 7.
Oh, okay. I thought they fucked me. I take that. You know what? I don't take my rant back because still fuck them.
Fuck them because I would have been 3-0 on best bets, but they won by 7.
Okay.
Yeah, I picked the Bears.
I wanted them to lose so fucking bad that I think it just hurt me even more. And then I thought, oh, the Bears might get them here. The Bears might get them here. And I don't like the Bears, but I hate the Packers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The Bears had them. Oh, the play was the right time to call that play. Let's talk about the play that finished the game with Caleb Williams throwing the interception. That play was exactly the same play that they had the week before to win the game as well against it was against the Eagles. They had the same play, roll out, tight end over the top. They had the same play to be able to do that.
Maddie will appreciate that.
Just want to thank Jalen Hurts for giving me a big W. I was up 6 going in. Yes, I do appreciate that. That is good. I picked the Chargers as my best bet in that game, so I was running around the living room feeling pretty good on that one as well. But Caleb Williams rolls out to the left, has the ability to throw it over the top to Loveland, and just wasn't able to get enough juice on it this time. Whereas the week before, he threw the perfect ball. It just wasn't enough juice, and it ends up getting picked off on this one. Jay, do the Bears have a Caleb Williams problem here as well? Because Ben Johnson came out and said we're winning in spite of our passing game 2 weeks ago, and in this game, he's the one who throws the turnover to give up the game.
No, I think he's getting better.
Yeah,
I think he's getting better. I don't think they have a Caleb problem. I think they have a young quarterback in his second year and shit happens like this. I think they're playing way better than any of us expected them to play. What were they on, a 7 or 8 game winning streak or something like that going into that game? Yeah. So I don't think Caleb Williams is the problem. Also, with the fact that I don't think they'll get the home field, I don't think they have a shot in a prayer at the Super Bowl either. But I think they leave this season really happy with Caleb Williams, and they leave it really happy with Ben Johnson. Their defense is tough, and they're only going to get better because we questioned Ryan Poles at first. But now after we see what's going on and he moved on, got the right coach, and it seems like the right quarterback, I don't think we can question him anymore. I think that we're seeing a team that went from dysfunctional to a team that's building something that people aren't going to want to see for years to come, like as in opponents.
Yeah, and I think they have that.
I just read that when I put it on the screen.
That is so good. that made me laugh. I was trying.
All right, you win the internet today.
Yeah, I was trying to do some cohesive analysis whilst not absolutely wetting myself at that. That was quite funny. But the Bears have a 2-headed monster at running back because Swift is now running hard with Kyle Monangai there as well. So they have that kind of 2-headed running back behind that Ben Johnson's so good with. Caleb Williams has got better and better and better throughout the start of the season. I said in the preseason and in those first games of the season where they looked terrible, it was a poor marriage of Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson at the start because they have two completely different playing styles. But actually now Ben Johnson is calling really nice onto Caleb Williams, and Caleb Williams is starting to understand that play as well. So Caleb Williams, we'll see. Caleb Williams, the Eagles will win the Eagles should run the table. They've got the Raiders, the Commanders twice, and the Bills game. That's so they should. But with the
that's the most cowboy answer ever. Go ahead.
With Caleb Williams, he has to. His escapability numbers are going through the roof. So his scramble to sack ratio is crazy compared to last year. It was at like minus 170. Last year, it's now at minus 17. Everybody gets minuses in that stat apart from Josh Allen, apparently. But his scramble to sack ratio is crazy. So he's escaping those things that Jared Goff couldn't escape in those systems. So and he's making bigger plays off it. And he just needs to be getting more accurate, and just a step more accurate every single game takes them to a really great place. And you just see the improvement throughout the season. So I think the Bears are in a really good place. If they could get some defensive stars, then that would be huge for them as well.
His biggest step too, if you watch it forward, Caleb Williams, his mechanics are so much better when he's under pressure now than they were in college or a year ago. And this stuff is starting to become second nature to him, where you can tell he doesn't have to think all the time about his mechanics, which happens with a young quarterback. I think he's just going to keep getting better. I'm irritatedly impressed about how well the Bears are doing.
I'm really surprised they don't get the one guy I think on the offense that surprises me doesn't get the ball more, DJ Moore. Every time I see him get the ball, he does something really great with it. And he's on my bench in fantasy and everything, so that's why I'm watching him quite closely. But like, I'm surprised he doesn't get the ball more because he's an excellent wide receiver. He was the wide receiver one in Carolina. It made a lot of sense for him to come over for that trade. Like, I like DJ Moore a lot, so I'm surprised he doesn't get the ball more often in Ben Johnson's offense.
You and I have different ratings on DJ Moore, but you've known that for years. Or you just don't remember. I didn't think it was a great piece. I thought he was a above average receiver, but I didn't think he was changing life there. I'd have rather had the pick. But that was me back nitpicking the trade when I still thought the Bears were going to be fucking awful for years.
Should we give the Packers some love, Jay? Because their defense got kind of like was.
So you want to hear a crazy stat?
Sorry, go on. Yeah, go on.
As a Packer, 0 holding calls on Micah Parsons. Does that shock you?
No, doesn't shock me whatsoever. Because do you know he didn't get any fucking holding calls when he was a Cowboy either. Like it's amazing. It's amazing how often Micah Parsons gets away without holding calls because he is held on.
I think that was in the CBA. I think they negotiated that in the CBA that Micah Parsons you can hold him.
Yeah, because the guy is so fast. He just destroys plays entirely. So you have to hold him. And I think it genuinely got to a point in Dallas where I remember when he did get holding calls. And then I remember a game where he stopped and then he never got a holding call again. Like that's what happened in Dallas. It was like, we can't keep on giving him holding calls because that's the end of it.
My tattoo artist today is the one who gave me that stat.
It's amazing. It's genuine. Did you tell him that the Cowboys fan that I host the podcast with used to say?
Yeah, and I did tell him that this was the same bitch you had for years about Micah Parsons. So
it's like not a single holding call, but yeah, they look great on the defensive side of the ball. Micah Parsons is changing life there, as you know, as we said he would. There's winners on both sides of that trade. Like Micah Parsons looks really good as a Green Bay Packer now. Jordan Love, we've had a lot of problems with Jordan Love. He's both the most consistent and inconsistent quarterback in the league. If you look at some of his stats, so his play under pressure is terrible, but also if you look at other stats, his play under pressure is unreal because how they define pressure is different in those stats. So the plays where they're defining pressure is him being under pressure, being poor is not when he's actually throwing those back foot throws. So those back foot throws don't class as pressure because the defensive rusher isn't close enough to him to call it pressure. So those back foot throws that he's making actually work against him in some of those things. But with that back foot throw that he does in this game, Jay, he nailed it every single time again, and he nailed it every single time the week before, and then he fucked it over against the Panthers. We'll see how he does it in the playoffs.
That's it. It's how consistent or like how accurate is he? When he is on with those throws, they are tough to beat. But when he's off, then it becomes a whole different ball game. And there's a couple things, and this is not me taking a shot at them. There's a couple things when I watch them that make me question how far they can go in the playoffs because they have games where you see it hurts them when they do certain shit, i.e. the Panthers game, right? That was an awful, just ugly game. And there's just games you can go back to where you're like, if they do this in the playoffs, they're out, right? So how hot do you get in the playoffs? And I always go back to Eli Manning. If you get hot, anything is possible.
Yeah, and then there's obviously, there's the Browns game as well. The Browns are a great defense and everything. There's also the tie against the Cowboys, which was just like the offense just getting completely blown out. Both teams just go mental.
Jerry negotiated that in the trade. Jerry negotiated a tie in the trade.
Yeah, definitely. He went, Micah Parsons isn't allowed to exist until the last play of the game. That's what's going on. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, put this up on the thing.
I was reading it. Appreciate it. I made the mistake of posting stuff before I read it and had to quick take it down before. So
But yeah, so
that's fair. That's fair. New England does not want any part of Eli Manning.
But yeah, Random Anton, if you subscribe to us, we have shows 7 days a week on our platform, but you can you'll get a notification before every half hour before we go live, and all of our live streams are always available after the fact as well. You can come back and watch them.
And we're on Spotify if you ever want to just listen.
Yeah, so come back and watch us after. But yeah, really appreciate it. It's going off in the chat, guys. So go and join in the chat. We answer any questions that get put in there, no matter how often it derails us from what we're meant to be talking about. Jay, let's take a lap of honor on the Minnesota Vikings for a second, because we both said the stuff about the Minnesota Vikings is really overblown. They'll get the offense going, and they got the offense going against the Washington Commanders. Jay, does that win against the Washington Commanders 31-0? Did that game stop the rot for the Vikings and for JJ McCarthy? The defense was outstanding again.
I don't think there's rot in the locker room, but I think it shuts up the analysts for a week or two, right? Yeah. Which is always good to calm the waters when everybody wants to like jump on this. He's been played 8 games and they already want to like judge what he is, right? If we'd have did that to Caleb Williams last year, he wouldn't even be in the NFL right now. You know what I mean? So like, I think we just saw what we wanted to see out of JJ. I loved some of the stats I saw. When the first read is open, JJ got the ball out of his hands in 2.2 seconds. Going to his second read, JJ had it out in 3.8 seconds. And going to his third read, he still had it out in 2.5, which I think is fucking amazing if you think about where JJ was on holding the ball too long. The game looked too fast for him at times still. Maybe it's starting to slow down for him. He's understanding the offense more. I think it was a great game to build his confidence. He does some weird, like he looks so weird on the stare down, but do you? Like it's weird looking, but do you if that's what you need to do? I was impressed. I like the steps they're making. I don't want to make too much of it, and I don't want to like overshadow what he did either. Think it was great in the scheme of his development. I don't think it answers anything positively moving forward. It's just a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I think it really showed what the Vikings should be as a football team next season, right? That's what they should be striving to be. It should be the defense is completely shut down when it comes to the Washington Commanders. And then JJ McCarthy comes out and just, he's proved he's insanely accurate, actually. If you look at, yeah, I know.
Hey, Michigan got a lot of heat right now because I forget dude's name who just got fired and arrested and like threatened to commit suicide and put a knife to somebody's throat. That whole thing is wild.
Yeah, I think with JJ McCarthy, I think he's shown accuracy throughout the season. That first game of the season where he makes that fourth quarter comeback, I remember watching that from like the hostel room in China, Jay, after I just had to like, after that guy started turning the lights off when we were trying to do.
Oh, yeah. That podcast was interesting. You're the only time you've ever been in the dark whispering.
Yeah, that was really weird. Yeah, the guy in the hostel who just decided to turn all the lights off in the reception, and he was a member of staff but decided to sleep on the couch instead of being at the reception. Yeah, that was a good one. But the main memory is obviously JJ McCarthy's come from behind win in that game, and he makes several great throws throughout that come from behind win, and he's made great throws all the way throughout. So I think he does have accuracy. He needs to learn a bit of touch. Yep. He needs to learn this Kevin O'Connell system, and his team need to stop fucking dropping the ball. As we've said over and over again, he would have a 10% higher completion rate if he didn't drop the ball. And most of the time,
we appreciate you.
Cheers, man. Really appreciate it. And also most of the time, quarterback is a momentum game. Football is a momentum game. So if you're dropping balls and putting your team behind where they should be, you halt all momentum. So in this game with the Commanders, they didn't drop the ball. JJ was accurate, and that's the Minnesota Vikings. The run game was fantastic, and the defense has been unreal all season. Like the Minnesota Vikings defense has been great all season, especially when Flores has been confident enough to actually go and make those plays. Jay, final reactions to week 14 is to the Colts and the problems that the Indianapolis Colts are facing. They obviously just lost this week. They lost Daniel Jones, who now both of his legs are just gone. His Achilles on his, what was it? His fibula on his right leg was broken, and then his Achilles on his left, and it just went. We all said like he doesn't look like his fibula's hurt, but his left must have been taking a lot of the strain from his right, making up for his right, and that's why his Achilles was more likely to tear because it was a non-contact injury. What do you think that means for Daniel Jones and the Indianapolis Colts and their relationship going forward into next year?
I don't know. He's not. I said this in the group chat. Like, he's not playing till 27. Like, so I don't know. Like, it's an Achilles. We watched Rodgers and Kirk Cousins come off this injury, right? Like, I know he's younger, but like also he's also more athletic and uses his legs more, and it's part of his dynamic. I don't think he's playing till 27, so I have no idea what happens. I was joking when I first said it, but the more I thought about it, it makes sense. Come be a backup in Minnesota after you get cleared, because you can sit, even if you're the third string again, in an offense that you were in for a half a year last year and rehabilitate. I don't know. I don't know what they do, right? And everybody's shitting on them for going after Phillip Rivers. And my question is, who the fuck else do you get this late in the season that knows the system? Like, there's not guys just sitting on the couch who know this system who can play. Yeah. Do I think it helps them make the playoffs? Absolutely not. Phillip Rivers made me laugh when they asked him how much he weighed, and he said, less than my last game in the NFL. He goes, but it's not like I was running away from guys anyway. Like, good answer. Like, this guy just came off the couch, and because he has 273 kids, I'm sure he was happy to get off the couch and go do something.
Yeah, I think with I think with Daniel Jones, just to finish off on Daniel Jones.
Play him. We're in the playoffs. Well, I'm not, but our league is in the playoffs, so that'd be a rough week for us.
First game in the playoffs.
Well, we're in a 14-team league for anybody who's new, so it is ridiculous to like try to navigate a 14-team league.
Somebody might genuinely have to play Phillip Rivers, like genuine. In our league, Phillip Rivers might not be a terrible person to have as your starting quarterback when you're 14 teams and there's so many injuries at quarterback this year. But with Daniel Jones and that point on Daniel Jones, I don't think it serves Daniel Jones at all to come back any form of hurt, because everybody already has like so many questions about Daniel Jones and how good he is. So coming back at anything less than 100% makes no sense for him. So if I'm him, I know it's gonna be really difficult, because it's obviously a shit ton of money, most importantly as well. And if the Colts want to hold on to you and stuff, like that's fine. Maybe stay at the Colts, maybe, and they'll understand. But as you said, we saw Rodgers come off the Achilles, we saw Kirk come off the Achilles, and they didn't look right. And that doesn't serve Daniel Jones at all well because of the position he's in.
Daniel Jones, man.
Yeah, he just got back on it as well, and to be drafted to the Giants, he was reached for at the Giants as well. I think if Daniel Jones was a first round pick, I think everybody would be kind of fine with him. But he wasn't just a first round pick; he was a 5th overall to the New York Giants. Like I think like that's another one of his biggest problems, right? Like that's the pedigree that they were going for. So he gets overdrafted by the New York Giants to Brian Daboll, who we don't think is really up to much, and there's a reason he's now out of the league as well. Like, and then goes to the Colts, finally starts playing well, and then gets these injuries. That's really unfortunate. I really do think it doesn't serve him playing anything less than 100%. I don't necessarily agree with you with going and being a 3rd string QB, but maybe it makes sense.
At the end of next year when he's cleared, you still don't want to play, but you're going to want to be on a team. So you get some practice squad reps, because the practice squad is different now. You can put veterans and move them up. COVID changed all that. So I don't think it's a bad idea to go sit on somebody's practice squad after you're cleared next year, but don't play. Like, just get into shape, get back into moving around type thing. And I think there's a team out there that would do that for Daniel Jones.
Yeah. I think for Indy and their quarterback situation going forward, let's talk about Phillip Rivers quickly now. I don't think it's the most sensible thing to put a 44-year-old quarterback in when you're about to go play the Seattle Seahawks. I think it's an idiotic thing for Phillip Rivers to do, to come back. I think it's absolutely insane. Like, I think it's a mad thing. I don't think it's entirely sensible. But if you're a sensible person, you don't play American football. It's why not many American footballers kids go and play American football, because they know it's not sensible to do either.
Did you hear what Kevin O'Connell said about Phillip Rivers coming back? Now, they're friends, mind you. But he said, he goes, you do know Phillip has a training field at his home. And he said that he got a big enough family. If he needs a full team, he can field one. Yeah,
like, he's been throwing the ball. Yeah, he's been playing 7-on-7. Like he just needs a couple of cousins to come over.
Yeah,
like he's fine to play 7-on-7. But yeah, I think with Phillip Rivers, but as you say, where are you going to find a guy to come off the bench who knows the system? Like Josh Dobbs is out there somewhere, must be, right?
Does he know Shane Steichen's system though? That's the thing.
Yeah. Like NASA.
Yeah, that worked well for one game in Minnesota, but okay.
I was genuinely pissing myself laughing when I thought of the name Colin Kaepernick. That's rough.
It's a Cowboys fan for you, Maddie. You got some of your peeps
finally,
in the comments.
Finally, they do exist. Yeah, I was thinking he's in New England, isn't he? I didn't know that Josh would actually show up. I was like, as soon as I said it, I was like, we've been talking about New England to a Pats fan the whole time, and I've just said Josh Dobbs, who is definitely in New England, as well. And yeah, him and Trevor Lawrence, the Hospital Ball Kings, going forward.
I like these names. He's got something rolling with these names.
Yeah, but with the Colts, the one name that made me laugh when I thought of it was Colin Kaepernick. I was like, gotta be, right? Like give him his chance. Now, this would be the time for the NFL to allow Colin Kaepernick back in, and they would say to the Colts, make sure your entire offensive line is injured as well, and just let Colin Kaepernick have his one game and get blown his shit up. Like, that's what the NFL would want to see. With Colin Kaepernick.
Do you see Cam Newton got all in his feelings about it, like because they didn't call him?
Cam Newton might genuinely be the only person who looked older than Phillip Rivers when he was playing, like to finish off.
Well, it's the thing, like you don't know Shane Steichen's offense either. Like, what are we talking about? Like,
it's the offense, but like Phillip Rivers looked old when he finished.
Oh yeah,
he looked really old when he finished.
I thought they were going to call Matt Ryan. I did not think it was going to be Phillip Rivers.
I thought it would be Matt Ryan. I bet you Matt Ryan said no.
Oh, that'd be wild. I love for people to eat shit. I am petty, and I would enjoy somebody else's pettiness, but that's that Pisces in me. I just get to laugh at somebody. I'm good with it.
It's that Pisces in me. That was me in the shower thinking about Colin Kaepernick playing for the Indianapolis Colts. I was like, that would be
not a visual we needed. Thanks.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm just kidding. We all think about you in the shower, Maddie. Don't.
I mean, I know it looks like I'm in prison, so like obviously I'd be talking about the showers, right? Like that's the thing. God, that was terrible. Terrible joke. Terrible. Right. Okay. Let's move on from our Week 14 reaction show. Let's go to a break. I need a break after that terrible.
We'll see you in like 30 seconds or so, guys.
Yeah, we'll see you. We'll see you after the break.
Well, you'll see two of Maddie.
Yeah, it was me and Jay. We need to go and get a cup of coffee.
Me and Jay set up the Yankee and the Brit nearly 5 years ago. And in that time, we've gone up to about 7 shows a week. And with the help of our loyal community, we've been able to keep growing. But we want to grow even more. And that's why just giving $5 or £5 could really help us out in our Buy Me a Coffee fund. And all you have to do is hit the Buy Me a Coffee link in our YouTube descriptions. That'll be on every single video. You can give £5, $5. You can give it once, you can give it every month. And what that does is it allows us to grow and even buy ourselves a coffee every once in a while.
Yeah, so if you guys want to support us and you want to be able to buy us a cup of coffee, then you can go to the QR code that's on screen, or you can hit the link in the description below to give us some support. Anything is greatly valued. Let's have a look at our Week 14 MVP and Week 14 Rookie MVP. Jay, let's start with the Rookie MVPs here. Jay, who you got?
I am pulling up right now. All right. So there's a lot of people who could have been on this list. There was a lot of good rookie performances this week. I'm going with the obvious. Give me Shedeur Sanders, 364 passing, 3 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing, and Kevin Stefanski takes him out of the game with the game on the fucking line. I'm not sure what happened.
Yeah, have you seen all the
I am pretty sure what happened, but
have you seen the conspiracy theories about that this week? Like that is one of the worst plays of the NFL this season. Some reverse. I didn't mind going wildcat to Kinshon Judkins. Like I didn't mind that. It was why do that to go to a weird reverse play where he's got to pitch the ball? Like when you've got a quarterback to do that. Like you could have a reverse with a pitch.
Pulled the fuck out in that game, made huge plays, drove you down the field, and then you take him off the field.
Yeah, it was weird. And Shedeur Sanders is looking good. Like he'll be a quarterback in the NFL next year. And for a while, I think the big point on that game, Jay, is that game was the Dylan Gabriel wouldn't have ever been able to get that level of play. Like that's the point. That's the point, isn't it? It's Dylan Gabriel maybe gave them a bit of a higher floor because Shedeur Sanders in his debut made so many mistakes, right? So Dylan Gabriel gave them that higher floor, but he would never be able to produce the game that Shedeur Sanders produced in that play.
I don't think I'm crazy to say that you start Shedeur from day one in that division. You might be still in the hunt for the division title.
Yeah, I mean they're and thereabouts. Like maybe. I'm
not saying they're leading the division, but they're not out of the playoffs yet. Like I'm just saying, like I think if you start him, you have 3 or 4 more wins on your record, and it's a whole different season.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Jay. I've gone for a slightly different thing, but I've stayed with the rookie quarterbacks for my MVP. I've given it to Tyler Shough.
Not a bad pick.
The New Orleans Saints beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We'll talk a bit more about that loss when we get onto our Thursday night football previews, so stay tuned for that. But Tyler Shough comes in, throws for 144 yards, which isn't anything crazy, but he rushes on the ground for 55 as well, and it's big-time throws, it's big-time plays with his legs, and look, he looked pretty good. He looked pretty good in that game. He came in and he won the game, and the weather was shocking. Like to come in and win the game in that weather against that Buccaneers team, I think a really great way for Tyler Shough to kind of announce himself on the stages. Don't forget about me. That kind of play, I still think he's probably more backup than starter in terms of potential. But I think for this week, rookie MVP goes to Tyler Shough. Jay, what about your Week 14 MVP?
Well, as for Tyler Shough, quick, I still think they think he's a starter, so I think they're sticking with him. But I whittled it down to 4 guys and then decided I have to go with the one who is the best out of the 4, and that would be Sam Darnold with his near-perfect efficiency, 347 yards and 5 touchdowns with no interceptions.
I mean, what more can we say about that, really? That basically tops it off. I really like Sam Darnold. I've liked Sam Darnold since he came in the league as well. Like Jay knows, I always love a reclamation project, so I'm a big fan of the quarterbacks in reclamation.
That's a nice way to put it, but all right.
Can you see the house that I'm in? Of course, I like a reclamation project. But yeah, he's Sam Darnold has balled out again this year. Jay, I thought the biggest difference maker for any of their teams this year and this week, and the player who really shone for me in their game was Jahmyr Gibbs in that game against the Dallas Cowboys. I think he caused the biggest problems for the Cowboys. The Cowboys offense couldn't really stop anything that went to Jahmyr Gibbs. He only got 43 yards on the ground and only got 77 yards through the air, but he was a much bigger problem than that because the Dallas Cowboys, just the only thing that they could do is try and take him away in the second half, which then opened everybody else up. Like Jahmyr Gibbs was just a clear standout for me this week in that game, especially with his play all around the Dallas Cowboys. Jay,
that's a good pick though, because I was saying at in our preview show, Jahmyr Gibbs could be the thorn in their side, and that's the guy you got to watch for. Just quick shout out though before we move on: Puka Nacua 165, Aaron Rodgers 284 though. Rushing touchdown from the old man. Just a shout out for the rushing touchdown from the old man.
Yeah, Josh Allen as well obviously had another great game against the Bengals, kind of putting the Superman cape on against the Cincinnati Bengals. I think he got 37.2 fantasy points as well, Josh Allen, in that game. So we obviously don't judge football on fantasy points, but it is a helpful way of showing when someone has a really great game. Jay, moving on to GMJ, which is where I ask our podcasting GM, Jay. I ask him a question that I want to ask all NFL GMs. And Jay, my question for you is, it looks like only Mendoza is the only guy coming out of the draft. The other guys might jump straight back in. But Mendoza looks like the only guy coming out of the draft, especially in terms of first-round picks. Jay, who is the standout free agents that we should be looking at next year for the quarterback position? Who's going to be the reclamation projects? I've said free agents, but big guys who they're going to trade for as well. The quarterbacks will move teams and change life next year.
I think it's Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones is the guy that everybody tries to go after in the offseason if they need a quarterback. But that's just low-hanging fruit because I think he'll be available. Like, I think that, but there's always going to be a team out there. And here's the thing. A lot of people are going to say Kyler Murray. I don't know if I think Kyler Murray is such a great investment at his price. So that's kind of where that goes. I think you get Mac Jones a lot cheaper, but most people probably say Kyler Murray. For me, it's Mac Jones.
Yeah, I love Mac Jones. I love what he's done all this year. He's been really standout. And as we've been saying, he's better value for money than Brock Purdy and that San Francisco team, and he can do more. Brock Purdy's come back and he's played a couple of good games now, but like,
we're not saying Brock Purdy's trash either. We're just saying bang for your buck.
Brock Purdy is probably slightly better than Mac Jones, but it's only slightly, and he costs about $40 million a year more. He costs two elite wide receivers more than Mac Jones does. That's the way that you should do the math with NFL. I just said math. Jay, I'm doing too many shows with you. Like, I just said math. It's maths. I'm turning into an American. This is horrendous. But Mac Jones.
Wait. It's what?
We say maths, like with an S on the end.
Maths?
Maths. Yeah, maths. Because it's mathematics. It's not mathematic.
Interesting. I learned something new again. All right.
So it's maths, but I just said math that time. But so when you're doing the maths, around cap space, you should say what players I can get for this cap difference. And with Mac Jones and Brock Purdy, it's a huge cap difference. And that's the same with Kyler Murray and Mac Jones as well, right? Like, how much better is Kyler Murray than Mac Jones? Well, I think that Kyler Murray is quite a lot better than Mac Jones if you put him in the right system. Like, I think if you had someone really interesting in Atlanta, like Atlanta can't do it because of what the fuck they've done with their quarterback room currently. But if you got a really interesting offensive coordinator in Atlanta and said, here's Kyler Murray, like, that would be mad. Like, that the weapons and Kyler Murray, that would be exciting. If you did the same in Vegas, that would be great as well. Indy have cap room available as well, although that I think Indy should be the team that go for Mendoza. I think they should push really, really hard for Mendoza. That makes loads and loads of sense for me. But I agree with you. Mac Jones, I think, a standout one. Kyler Murray as well, you mentioned. Two, I can't really think of anybody else who's going to be on the move.
Tua might be on the move.
Tua, it'd be interesting to see if Jacoby Brissett stays in Arizona, if Arizona decide to go do anything different.
If they get rid of Kyler, Jacoby's got to stay, right?
Yeah, has to. Like, obviously has to, but it would just be interesting to say, Jameis Winston's still out there, Russell Wilson's still out there, Justin Fields, he'll be out there able to move, A reclamation project too far now, I fear. Jay, let's move on to our overreactions here. These are NFL Week 14 overreactions. This is stuff where we think it's true, but we know we're maybe pushing the bar over there a little.
All right. So 2 weeks in a row with a new caveat. The officiating is killing the NFL, and the NFL fucking lied to us. And now we found out even your virtual measurement isn't by the chip in the ball. It's from where the fucking ref decides to spot the ball, and then they take camera angles I can't. I just can't. I can't with the refs
That's
anymore. Their CBA is coming up. They better hold the refs' feet to the fire. Like, this is so ridiculous.
That's always been the one for me. Like, the other stuff, I'm like, okay, I understand why you don't use the technology on it, I guess. I mean, I don't, but I can let it slide. The ball measurement, why are we letting these old men determine where the ball is, and you can't see where the ball is half the time? Like, that's what I never understood. Like, it's a bad spot. Yeah, because like this should be pretty clear. And I understand it's because, like, it's where the player's knees down. So does the chip in the ball doesn't project where the player's knee is down and those kind of things either, right? But sure, like, there's enough technology in the fucking NFL to be able to tell when a player's knee is down and where the ball is when that happens.
Yeah, this whole thing is just too much for me. I can't. The officiating's getting even worse. And now finally, we're not the only ones talking about it. Finally, for the last week and a half, 2 weeks, mainstream sports media is talking about it too. Something needs to happen.
So we
can go for days on what happened in the Ravens game.
Yeah, right. But we don't talk about it in the way that, like, we haven't been talking about it in the way that it's some sort of like mad conspiracy and all of that, because we understand that people are fucking stupid. Like, the sooner everybody realizes that people are idiots, like people. We now have got to a time where everybody believes that people are doing shit for bad reasons, but they forget that people do stuff because they're stupid. Like, they forget that 49.9% of people are below average intelligence. Like, that's what's happening. And they all seem to be in the NFL officiating room currently.
Yeah, it is so bad.
I don't understand the whole not using technology. It is mad to me. Jay, my hot take, my NFL Week 14 overreaction is the Dallas Cowboys are still going to make the NFL playoffs. Hear me out. The Philadelphia Eagles are going to lose to the Bills. They're going to lose one of those games to the Commanders as well, and the Cowboys will win out from this point. So Commanders need a win against the Eagles. They'll lose to the Bills as well, and that will mean the Dallas Cowboys are in the playoffs, and nobody wants to face this Dallas Cowboys team in the playoffs either. So there you go. Week 14.
All right, Maddie, hear me out. The only problem with that is you're going down Sunday night.
You think I was like, this is the week where the Cowboys and the Vikings play each other.
I got my good luck tattoo. It's over from here, bro.
5.5 point favorites. After that performance against the Commanders, I am slightly more worried. I am really can't decide whether to play JJ McCarthy or Caleb Williams in the fantasy football, because the Bears have got the Browns, I think. So it's Caleb Williams and the Browns, JJ McCarthy up against the Dallas Cowboys. Devin Neal or Jordan Addison is my other one at the flex.
You could go get Phillip Rivers off waivers.
Could go get Phillip Rivers off waivers just for the crack, just to give Bloomdahl a chance. Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited for that game on the evening. It's always fun when the Cowboys and the Vikings play each other. They always tend to be pretty good games as well. Jay, let's move on to week 15. Let's put week 14 in the books, finished off, and let's move on to our Thursday night football preview, where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 5.5 point favorites against the Atlanta Falcons. Jay, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had a really rough game against the Saints. How did they lose that game last week?
Divisional game, playing bad football, and it bites you in the ass. Like, we see it every year with multiple teams. They're way better than the team they're playing in their division. I mean, we saw it for how many years with the Packers? The Lions sucked ass and would always beat the Packers once a year.
Yeah, I think we said when we were picking the game, what was the spread on it? It was one of the ones that I definitely nearly picked the Saints in it. Going through.
Yeah, I doubt I came close to picking the Saints, to be honest.
It was 8.5. They were the Bucs were 8.5 point favorites. I was very close to picking the Saints because I was like, this is a divisional game. Like, it'll be close. The Bucs are really up and down with who they have available. Like, who's who's going to be on the injury report for the Bucs. We don't know. Like they're very injured. It's 8.5 points. And then I picked the Bucs because greater sense prevailed, and it turned out greater sense didn't prevail. I think Tyler Shough just played a really solid football game. The weather was horrific. Like, I don't know how much of that game you saw, but it's one of those games where you almost throw it out because of how bad the weather was. Like,
I saw the 20-minute condensed version. That's what I saw.
It was torrential in Florida. Like, it was absolutely insane. It was bucketing down, and the Bucs just had a generally bad game. And I think they're kind of stumbling. They're stumbling quite a lot into the end of the season, but they've been playing with so many injuries. Baker's basically like the Walking Dead at this point. He's getting beaten up from all angles as well. Like, they're just stumbling into this playoffs at the end, and they copped against a great against the division rival who always plays them really tough. Mike Evans does seem to be coming back. He didn't make it back for the Saints game, but he seems he's going to be in for this game tonight. How much of a difference will Mike Evans make for that?
I mean, he's a great receiver, so don't get me wrong. He's going to make a difference, but that is not the problems Tampa has. Tampa has a host of problems that have nothing to do with their receiver core. So I think, yes, having a guy like Mike Evans always helps, but I don't think it changes some of the problems they have.
I think with in the game last week, Emeka Egbuka, I think, showed he was a rookie. I think he drops a really big play, another huge drop actually. Now we're talking, but he was in difficult weather and stuff, but he drops a really big play. And when you have a guy like Mike Evans that you can just go to and you know he's going to beat his, like 9 times out of 10, he beats his DB. I think that is a huge point for the Bucs, and Bucky Irvin is back as well, and they still have a good running back game. I agree. It's their defensive side of the ball that's been so disappointing, though, for them. Like that game against the Bills, I think since then they've really struggled to get anything going. Their Buffalo Bills really did a number on them. The Bucs, their defense, but I do think that Mike Evans coming back does make a big deal because it gives like your go-to guy. It's like the Rams become immediately better when Puka Nacua is there, even though they look good without him. When Puka Nacua is there, he's just such a reliable possession guy, and Mike Evans is the same as well. So hopefully Mike Evans coming back makes a big thing for the Bucs. And Jay, from the Falcons here, can they put up enough offense to hold off the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? They've been struggling again.
Yeah, I think we have the return of Kirk O'Chains tonight. I think you're going to see an Atlanta team that comes out. I think that Baker's going to struggle even with this defense because when they're on, they have one of the best pass defenses in the league. So I think Atlanta, and don't get me wrong, I think Tampa's going to put up some points. I just think Atlanta's going to put up more. And I think we're looking like a 28-30 something game. But I got Atlanta winning this game. So you can just mark that down already. Atlanta plus the 5.5.
I think with the ATL, with Atlanta, I think they just have so much talent on the pitch. They have so much talent on that field. It looks like there's no reason for it not to be working. We've probably spoke about Atlanta more than any other non-Atlanta based football podcast because we're just so confused by them every time it's there. They've drafted really well, but the rookies only show up every now and again, because they're rookies, right? They don't show up every week because they're rookies. So that's fine. It's just their defense is so predicated on those rookies. Like they need those rookies to show up because they've never had a pass rush until these rookies showed up. And when you rely on rookies, you're going to have inconsistency at the pass rush. That's going to happen. Now you hope that they'll show up for a divisional game. They're 4-9. Is the season maybe over? Are they playing for Raheem Morris at that point? Would you play for Raheem Morris?
You're playing for you're put that film out for next year.
For hopefully, we've discussed this a lot. Hopefully, Atlanta pick a new coach next year. Don't put good money after bad with this coach. You've given him the chance. He's been given the chance, and he's not pulled it off. They need an offensive coach in that building.
If they lose tonight, this is when you fire a coach early just so you can get in. on the coaching search for next year.
Yeah, 100%. Sorry,
you know me, I'm not a fan of firing guys in season. But if you're Atlanta and you lose tonight, just rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah, and with Atlanta, you think like for me, they need an offensive. Like to me, they need an offensive coach. Like that's who they need. They're in desperate need of an offensive coach. Like that's who they need to go for, because there's going to be guys like, you know, Robert Saleh's available. I don't think he's the right guy. I don't think he's the right guy for them all. But Mike LaFleur, who's Matt LaFleur's brother, is the Rams offensive coordinator currently. He's available. Like that kind of guy makes loads of sense to me. Like go to the Rams offensive coordinator and go get him. Go to Shane Steichen's offensive coordinator and go get him. Who's doing it for the Vikings at the moment? Because it's KOC, and who's the offensive coordinator? You speak about him.
Wes Phillips, Wade Phillips' son.
Yeah, Wes Phillips. Like go get him. Go get one of those people in the building, because you just need to spark something with that offense when you've got Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Kyle Pitts. Like they need to go do that. And if they lose this game, I agree, it's time to get in.
Caleb DeBoer, call up Alabama, go get Caleb DeBoer. He was Michael Penix's head coach at Washington, and see where it goes from there. Yeah,
not a terrible, like, maybe you bring him in, maybe you keep Raheem Morrison, or you go get Robert Saleh. You go get Robert Saleh as your head coach, and then you go get a Caleb DeBoer as your offensive coordinator.
Do you give up the head coaching job at Alabama, though, for an offensive coordinator job? I'm not sure. Yeah.
No. Will he be the head coach at Alabama next year, though?
They made the playoffs. Why? I mean, so.
Yeah. They're quite up and down with Caleb DeBoer, though, the Alabama fans.
Yeah, but how do you fire a guy who just took you to the college playoffs? That's kind of my argument.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I'm no expert on college football. I
just think it's hard to fire a coach his first season and he takes you to the college football playoffs. I don't know. It just
right. Yeah. Yeah, but Jay, with the Falcons offensively and where they're at the moment, I just have zero trust in them to be able to actually do what they've got to do. It's 5.5 points feels a little rich with the way that the Bucs are playing at the moment, but you know, Mike Evans back, Bucky Irvin back. Like, how can you have trust in the Falcons in actually showing up for any particular game? They just only put up 10 points against the Miami.
And Kirk Cousins is notoriously horrible on Thursday night. It's a gut feeling.
Okay,
it really is. It's a gut feeling. I was just like, I was going over the games. I'm like, I don't know why this feels like a game Atlanta's going to win. I'm taking Atlanta. That's all the thought I put into that, because I wouldn't bet this game. If I was at the casino, not a chance I'm betting this game.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet this game either. It's the weather is set. The weather is set fair for this evening.
I would bet an anytime touchdown by either one of these running backs, though.
Yeah, I think gotta be. Taylor Algier takes a lot of Bijan Robinson's red zone downs as a Bijan Robinson.
I think Bijan's going to break a big run against this defense.
Yeah, that's
even a reception out the backfield, a check down, boom, 20-yard touchdown.
You know what, you're talking me into the Falcons here. I haven't put it into the spreadsheet yet. I don't know who.
I know you said you don't like to change things, though.
I haven't checked, but I haven't. I only don't like to change it if I'm sure and I've written it in the spreadsheet. I haven't written it in the spreadsheet.
Man, he's like, I'm ready to let you take me down with you. That's a good friend right there. He's going down with the ship if we go down. No, I don't know where you go.
I've gone the Falcons way too much this year and lost.
Fair enough.
I'm going to go with the Bucs in this one. I can't trust the Falcons to actually
Maddie, you don't want to let a guy who just said it's a gut feeling talk you into something.
Yeah, right. And do you know what? Fucking Bijan Robinson better show up in this game, the first round of our fantasy playoffs.
Well, I forgot he's on your fantasy team.
He's projected as 22 points, which that's pretty fucking rich for what he's been getting this year. But okay, that's fine. We'll see what happens.
It just hit me. You should have, when the buy me a coffee ad, been like, buy us a bevy.
Buys a bevy. Yeah, maybe. That's more for a beer.
I thought that was any drink. I saw a guy go into an American gas station and ask where the bevy was, and they're like, "The what?" He's like, Coca-Cola, Sprite. So I didn't know it was a beer. Okay.
Oh, if I was to ever say a bevy, I would expect an alcoholic drink, but no, maybe not. Maybe another.
I don't know if it differs. Wherever he's from, he got a way thicker accent than you.
Yeah, that's fair. That's the problem with the UK, isn't it? Like the UK
that's the
is
US
such a tiny island with such a tiny fucking island with just different accents and different ways of saying everything absolutely everywhere.
I think it's amazing.
What, go on?
I think it's amazing.
It is cool.
Americans love all of your guys' different accent, and the deeper and even more Scouser it goes, the more we love it.
Yeah. It makes things very confusing. It's quite an interesting thing. So, as a guy who teaches English abroad, teaches English language abroad, what's quite an interesting thing is English people have to do video interviews with schools to get their jobs and do demo lessons, and Americans don't, because you kind of know what accent you're getting with an American. It's unlikely that you may get a southern accent and whatever, but widely you understand what kind of accent you're getting. But with the British, you could be getting someone from you could be getting a Scouser, you could be getting someone from Glasgow, you could get someone who's probably Geordie, Brummie, and they don't want their kids saying that. I come from the Northeast. I have a very neutral accent for the Northeast. But I taught my kids some slang. So I taught them a phrase saying, "How let's go and get some scran," which means come on, let's go get some food. And they were just saying that around the school, and I remember getting told off by the Chinese teachers for teaching them incorrect English, which was quite funny.
The only one I remember was "Give me your bees and honey," which was "Give me the money." I remember that
bees and honey, some Cockney rhyming slang. There.
Yeah, I remember. I think I got that off of Green Street Hooligans too, but
that's where you get most of your
I watch very British shit now. You pointed out a long time ago that was really made for Americans, where the other ones I watch about football firms, and if you guys want to see some wild movies, go check these out. But you can find them on Netflix and everything. But just put in English football movies, and you will find wild shit. And it's always West Ham, or not West Ham. It's always Millwall is brought up in every one of these shows.
They used to be really they used to have a really tough firm in the
yeah, they must have been gritty as hell because they make them seem like they're tough.
Yeah, they're mental. We don't really have firms. They're not really.
Yeah, I know. It's good, but it's sad too because of how good of shows and movies it made.
Sunderland play Newcastle this weekend, and that's a big derby. That'll be rough. I reckon that's going to be pretty. Haven't played each other in the Premier League for 10 years, so that's going to be pretty horrendous going forward. But Jay, it's week 15 of the NFL, and we have our best bets to give. Jay, we're doing all right in the best bets columns. I'm 23-19. You're 22-20. ChatGPT, since we've been doing it, is 0-3. In this as well. Jay, who are your best bets of this week?
You want me to give you chats first or mine?
Yeah, let's have chats first.
All right. I got to find them quick. Here we go. So ChatGPT has the Eagles to cover at -11.5.
It's insane.
The Jags to cover at 13.5.
That's fucking mental.
And the Bills to win out, but +1.5.
Okay. I can get behind that a little more.
I told you it got worse, though, than last week. I told you at the beginning of the show.
The Eagles at 11.5. How can you trust the Eagles offense to put up enough points to do that? I think the defense is really going to, that matchup, Jalen Carr and Jordan Davis versus the Raiders' interior offensive line, I think is enough to justify the 11.5 but as a best bet. And the Jags are the same. How do you trust the Jags? And also, every now and again, the Jets' defense looks unreal. So, 13.5 for the Jags is pretty wild as well.
All right. Well, we'll go on to my best bets of the week. And one, I don't know if Maddie will agree, but it's one of his darlings. Give me Denver +2.5 over Green Bay. Denver's at home. I think that makes a big difference. I think that defense is amazing. And if it's even close in the fourth quarter, it's Bo Nix time. My second best bet is give me Detroit +6 at the Rams. I think this is going to be a shootout. I think it's going to be a great game, and I think it's less than a touchdown no matter who wins. And give me the Bengals plus 2.5 over the Ravens. The Ravens are dead. But I did make that pick before I watched that Joe Burrow might want to be out of there, but I'm still going to stick with it.
Even if Joe Burrow wants to be out of there, he's still a gritty baller.
He's not going to sell it out. He's not some bitch who's going to quit on his team.
And AFC North rivalry, Joe Burrow is not going to sell out on his team. Joe Burrow will still come out and ball out because that's who he is. Jay, I like those picks. I nearly took the Broncos myself at plus 2.5. I thought, but I've bet against the Packers. I've bet against the Packers a lot and lost this season. So I'm staying off betting against the Packers one more time. The Lions, I nearly went for as well because that feels like it'll be a much closer game. But I think the Rams are a better team than the Lions, so I didn't go for that one. Jay, the one that I did go for I went for the Bengals at plus 2.5. That made a lot of sense to me as well against the Ravens. I think the Ravens are not a good football team, and I think the Bengals have made such huge strides forward since Joe Burrow's come back. So they've been playing much harder and much better football. So I think that makes sense. Bengals at plus 2.5. Also, the Panthers are minus 2.5 point favorites against the Saints. I think that's a big overcorrection. The Saints are a bad football team who won in the pissing rain last week, which changes everything. I think the Panthers are a much better football team. The Panthers are coming off a bye, and before that bye, they just beat the Rams as well. And Bryce Young seems to have turned it up. So, and the Panthers will be seeing a chance of going to the playoffs. The Panthers are playing with a really solid chance of going to the playoffs as well, especially if the Bucs lose tonight. So give me the Panthers at minus 2.5. And Jay, I've got the Chargers at plus 5.5 against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs are not a good football team, and the Chargers are a good football team, even if they're missing both of their tackles. The Chiefs are down to their third string tackles on their side of the ball as well. The Chargers have a good defensive game, especially a good pass rush as well. And I just think the Chargers are actually paying for something, and the Chiefs are kind of over. So give me the Chargers at plus 5.5.
Well, there you go, guys. Lock them in.
Yeah, lock them in, guys. I hope you enjoyed the show. It was really great to have some of you commenting in the chat with us. Always make sure to do that. If you've been watching, then do hit the like and subscribe buttons. Make sure to hit the bell to get notifications half an hour before we go live. And if you want to support us, guys, then you can head to the QR code at the top or the link at the bottom to buy us a coffee.
That weird backwards thing got me again.
Yeah, it gets me every time.
All right, everybody. Well, we appreciate you watching. We really appreciate the 3 people who subscribed during the show. Thank you so much. Thank you for everybody in the comments who's been watching. We really appreciate that people are it's picking up traction and people are starting to enjoy the content more. Make sure, like Maddie said, you hit that like and subscribe, hit the notification. There's 7 shows on the channel. I mean, you're into basketball. There's Well Beyond the Arc. You're into MMA. We got MMA Underground. There's College Football Junkies. We got Winging It. We got the playlist. If you like music, we got all kinds of stuff. So make sure you hit that notification. And again, thanks for watching, guys. One world, one love. Deuces.
Cheerio.